channel. So a little bit of a confession before we get started. Gutted doesn't even come close to how I feel right now. I have filmed 5 videos today and I did not turn my mic on. I plugged it into the camera, meaning that stops my camera's internal microphone working, but I didn't switch it on. So I filmed 5 videos in silence with me just going for about 3 hours. So yes, not best pleased with myself. Anyway, this intro is for my Shein full face of makeup that I've done today. It will be in silence because of that, but what I will do is obviously I'm refilming the intro, I'll refilm the outro, and I will do a voiceover talking you through. What I didn't want to do is refilm the whole video because then it's not sort of like a true first time experience, or you know, my thoughts might be slightly different the second time round, and I wanted it to be a true first impressions. So I'll just briefly talk you through the products that I've got now, because that's easier obviously while I can sort of show you them and speak at the same time, and then I will show in clips of me trying it, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts at the end. So it'll work out just fine. So we have pretty much a full face of makeup here, all by either Shein or SheGlam, which is another brand on their website, presumably the same company, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'll show you all the products. So firstly, we have this foundation, and I just think this is really cute because it comes in this gorgeous packaging. So this is like a velvet pouch, and it just feels very high-end and very nice. The packaging itself is sort of frosted glass, and I shouldn't have done that because it's a pump and I've just twisted it off. But it has like a nice metal top. It's a pump, which I've just exploded out, I think, by twisting it. It wasn't like that before. So that is the foundation, which is Silky Matte Liquid Foundation, Flawless Coverage. We have a powder, which is this SheGlam powder. Now, I love the packaging on this. It's got a twist-off lid. Inside it has a powder puff, but then it's sealed. So it has a special mechanism to open, and then your powder's in there, so it keeps it all like secure, and if you went traveling it wouldn't all come out of the mesh. So I think that is an amazing design, something that should be done by higher end products and isn't currently done as far as I'm aware. There may be a brand that does this, but of all the ones I've tried, this is the first one that I've seen like this, and it's can't fault it. Absolutely amazed by the packaging on that one. We have a concealer. It's just a standard everyday concealer with a doe foot applicator. We have lashes. I had 2 pairs. I've got 1 pair on, and this is the second pair. It was like a 2-pack. What I will say about the lashes is the bands are really thick, so they're not the easiest to apply, and they do tend to flick off. I don't know whether you'll be able to see on camera or it'll show up how thick the bands are, but they are quite square and quite thick. So I definitely wouldn't purchase those again. We have a mascara. This is a double-ended one. So on one side, you've got a really thin wand. And then on the other side, you have a thicker one, and it's also plastic. I love a plastic bristled wand. I don't really like it when it's sort of fibres. So this is plastic, which is my perfect type of wand. But it's also quite big and bushy as well. We have a blusher, which I really like the packaging on this blusher. This is in the shade Coral. It's really nice looking blusher. Everything about it, the design is nice. We have a highlight palette. This is like in a paper packaging, and as you can see, I've used it once and I've got it filthy, as these types of packagings tend to sort of be. So I've used the bronzer today, and I've used this highlighter here, which is gorgeous. But I've not actually swatched this on camera, so let's swatch it now. So that's the highlighter I've used today. We've got a darker one, which would be great for a darker skin tone. We've got a goldy one. Another goldy one. And then we've got the final one. So I've used the top one, which is perfect for my skin tone. And then we've got the bronzer. So that's that palette. And then we have the eyeshadow palette, which I've wrecked, which looks like this. And the glitter I've used today is this one. I've used some of these mauvey tones, and yeah, you'll see the look as we go through. But yeah, mixed feelings, but I'll go into that at the end. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll now drop in the clips of me trying this out. So we're approaching the part of the video with no sound, so apologies for that. There'll be lots of me moving my mouth and nothing coming out. But we're going to start off with the eyeshadow. I've already done my brows. I did them in advance just because there wasn't any brow products that I could pick up. So we'll just go straight in with the eyeshadow. So I'm just using this mauve colour, just putting it all throughout my crease. At the moment I'm not really concentrating that much on blending. I'm more trying to get the colour down where I want it. We will blend it out later. So here I'm taking a fluffy blending brush and I'm just blending the outside edges of both eyes just to get a nice blended edge. So I'm taking the lighter mauve shade on a fluffy blending brush and I'm just sweeping that above the original eye colour. That just gives an extra dimension to the eye look and also helps it look more seamlessly blended. So we're now moving on to the next shade. I've noticed that the eyeshadow in this palette doesn't blend that well and looks a bit patchy. So I'm just taking the very palest shade in the palette, which is almost my skin tone, and I'm using that to blend out the outer edges a little bit more. So here I'm cutting my crease and I've decided to go really high today with my cut crease. The reason for this is it gives the illusion of a much larger eyelid and it really opens up your eye. If you haven't tried cutting your crease extra high before, I would highly recommend. Just see what a difference it makes to your eye look. So now I'm going in with a shimmer shade and I'm just going to use that all over my cut crease. It's going to be the base before we put on glitter, which we will be putting on shortly. And here comes the glitter. I'm using this pink iridescent glitter today. And again, I'm just going to apply that to my lid with my fingers as it's the easiest way of doing it and the quickest. We're now taking the darker mauve shade again and I'm just using that to deepen up the outer edges of my eye and also just to run over the top of the cut crease as well, just to make everything stand out that little bit more. So now we move on to foundation. I'm not sure why I did it in this order, but I did my foundation before I finished my eyes. I was obviously feeling a little strange at the time. It wasn't the best colour match and it was much more full coverage than I'm used to, but I'll let you see how I got on with it. As a side note, this concealer that I'm just applying is also too dark for my skin. But it was the lightest shade they had. It was in the shade Fair. So now we move on to the translucent powder, and as you can see, as I'm putting it on my face, it floats on the breeze. It is so light and so fly away. It is actually a really nice powder, so I will definitely be using this one up for sure. So at this point I decided to finish off my eyes, because why wouldn't you at this point? And that eyeliner is really pretty. It's got sparkly glitter. but the nib on it is not the best, if I'm honest. The actual product itself is fine. It doesn't seem to smudge or anything like that. It's just not the easiest to draw a straight line with. So next we have the mascara. So it's got two ends to it. It's got quite a thick, almost curved end, which is like a plastic one, and then on the other side it's got another plastic end, and that one is super thin. I really enjoyed using this mascara. It's so versatile. The little thin end was great for getting into the roots of my lashes, coating the roots. It was also great for my under eye, and then the thicker wand was perfect for giving me more of a lift and more of a curl. To tie the look together, I've just used the darker mauve shade from the eyeshadow palette and just run that over the outer corners of my under eye. I then went over and used the shimmer shade just on the inner corners of my under eye, just to tie the whole look together. So for bronzer, I used the bronzer out of the highlighter palette. It wasn't very pigmented. I usually like a buildable bronzer. That normally doesn't faze me. However, this was very unpigmented, so it took a heck of a lot of building up. So probably not one that I would use again in the future. So now it's time for blusher. This blusher is a really pretty colour. It's not massively pigmented, but it's pigmented enough for my skin tone. So I would recommend to anyone with a pale skin tone, and I will definitely be using this in the future. For highlighter, I've gone for the pale pink tone in the palette, and I'm really impressed with this. It's not a standout highlighter. You don't look at it and think, wow, but at the same time, it's a very pretty everyday colour, and it's definitely something that I will use again in the future. For lipstick, I picked a shade that I thought was nude, but it's turned out to be fairly pink. Wasn't a big fan of this lipstick at all. Very drying. Didn't really like the colour. Yeah, there wasn't really anything nice to be said about it. I'll probably just keep it because it has nice packaging, and that's the kind of person I am. But yeah, I probably wouldn't wear it again. So it's time for lashes. These are really pretty lashes. My only criticism would be that they do have quite a thick lash band, and it is quite a square, solid lash band. They do feel fairly uncomfortable when they're on. They feel like they are sort of jabbing into your eyelids, and they do have a tendency to flick up at the corners after a while, again just because they are so thick. So that was the end of the video. Not ideal, I know, because obviously no sound, and I do apologise for that. I'll just go through my overall thoughts as we sort of wrap this all up. Overall, I'm a bit sort of thumbs down for the majority. The highlighter, amazing. I will 100% use that highlighter in the future. I think it is beautiful, that particular top one. The powder, love the packaging design. It's just so handy, especially for travel. I know I often say things are good for travel and we're not going anywhere, but we will be one day. So yeah, brilliant for that. It may even be something that I consider decanting into in the future. I might reuse this going forward once it's empty. The concealer wasn't really my shade. It is number one, fair. Where can I swatch it? And that's what it looks like compared to my skin. So it's not lightening me in any way, shape or form. If anything, it is darkening my skin, which is not what I look for in a concealer. But it was fine. It wasn't great. It was okay. The foundation is ivory, and look at it compared to my skin. I would not say that was ivory at all. If you just see my hand next to my face, it's a lot darker than it probably should be with a shade of ivory. I think this might have been the lightest colour they did as well, so if you're a light person, this is not the product for you. It did kind of settle into my fine lines and wrinkles quite a lot, which is why I don't really like a full coverage foundation, because it does tend to settle and go a bit crusty around there. But it's passable. I would go out in public in it, so it's not too bad. The eyeliner was a bit, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's a bit of a difficult, I don't know where I can draw this to show you. It's just a bit difficult to draw a very good straight line. It's just the shape of the nib isn't the best. I've had better nibs. It's just not as easy as some of the others that I've had or use. What else have we got? I really like this mascara. There's two reasons. One is that the little one, so this one here, really gets into your roots of your lashes, so you can really sort of lift your roots. If you're like me with very straight lashes, it does help with that. And the other end, although it's big, I normally end up with it all over my face when it's big. The wand, I like a small wand, but that didn't work. That didn't happen with this. I think it's because it is a plastic wand, much easier to control. Highly recommend that mascara. And the blusher was nice. The blusher was really, really nice. I do like this blusher. It's just kind of a very subtle wash of colour. It's buildable. Really, really nice. So I like that. So overall, a bit of a mixed bag. I wouldn't recommend, you know, a full face of Shein, but I would recommend bits and pieces from their range, including the highlight palette, which is absolutely stunning. The eyeshadow was okay. It's not the easiest to blend. The pigmentation's there, as you can see, but it's just not the easiest to blend. So, yeah. I wouldn't probably buy another eyeshadow palette from there, but the one that I've got I probably would use. So yeah, but that is my overall thoughts. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help my channel, and I hope to see you in a video again soon. Bye!